Alright guys, welcome back. Don't know if you've seen it, but I've been flying Javelin a bit lately. And mainly for one reason, and that's because 9-0 matches, 9-0 is the battle rating this aircraft sits at, 9-0 matches have been getting down tiers a lot more often. That means I haven't been having to face as many F-100s, you know, the MiG-19s, all the things that go a lot faster than this plane does. And I'll tell you what, it's actually been kind of enjoyable to fly this plane. Now it's still broken, it needs to be fixed. We'll go into that in a little bit, but let's just go into the actual plane as it sits right now. How bad is it? Everybody was complaining about the top speed in this aircraft. Now, Gaijin made their stance. We may or may not agree with it. They do not want to change the top speed on this aircraft. So let's pretend that we can't fix the top speed in this aircraft, alright? So ignore that. 1050 it rips, 1040, something like that. It's a relatively low speed, especially when you're facing supersonics. Now supersonics can go 1200, 1300 kilometers an hour. And those planes, you know, they're fighting at 1000 to 1100 kilometers an hour. They're still plenty maneuverable at that speed. Anything above 1000 kilometers an hour, this aircraft is a brick. It doesn't turn, it doesn't do a thing. So let's consider the actual combat speed of this aircraft. So above 800 it compresses, so let's say between 500, let's go on the safe side, let's go 600 to 800 kilometers an hour is your combat speed in this aircraft in its current configuration. Now that's going to put you in a struggle against 9-0s. It's going to put you completely out of the equation against a smart supersonic pilot, and it's going to put you in the window of the 8-0 aircraft. This aircraft is actually competitive in an 8-0 battle rank. So let's say we move it to, I'd love to see it at 8.3, but I don't think that it would be fair fighting a 7.3. So let's say 8.3 is out of the equation. Let's put it at 8.7. That should keep it out of range of most of the supersonics with the exception of the Super Mystere and the Hunter F6, which of course the Hunter F6 isn't a supersonic, but it has enough power to compete with most of them. Plus the missiles really make that plane actually kind of easy. But if we put the aircraft at 8.7, I think it would be a little bit more enjoyable. But it also has one more flaw that really needs to be fixed, and that is the durability. This aircraft has absolutely no durability whatsoever. And this is what I mean right here. And don't get me wrong, I'm a little slow. It was probably a stupid move in the first place. But this A5, take a quick head on. I want to pull off. He's got a really wide spray. It nicks me. I got a black wing I cannot control anymore. I instantly flat spin. And I can't control the aircraft the second I get a black wing. Now remember guys, I was just putting out a video here a little bit ago about the G91 and its 50 cals. You couldn't hardly kill anything with those guns. And yet the second 50 cals graze this aircraft, it's done. Wings rip. Wings turn black, it falls out of the sky. There's literally nothing you can do. This is not just like 1 in every 5. This is like 9 out of 10 times. And in the rare occurrence that 1 out of 10 times that it doesn't rip your wing off, your plane's going to fall out of the sky because it can't fly with black wings. And don't even get me started on cannons. There's no chance of surviving against cannons, period. Ever. So Gaijin really needs to go back to the drawing board, at least on the damage model for this aircraft. If you want to put it in perspective, look at the Horton 229 right now. That plane, it's the Dorito as well, the baby Dorito, and yet that thing can soak up so much damage it's not even funny. That's a wooden plane. Offensively though, this plane really isn't that bad. The wing, I see people complaining about these wing-mounted Aidens, but they're actually really nice. They put such a wide, like, shotgun-style spread that it's really hard to dodge them in a head-on or even in a broadside. I mean, offensively, I really don't have any troubles getting a kill with this aircraft. The guns work. The missiles suck. We all know that. I'm not even going to go on to them. They're just enough. Like, I fire them off just to give somebody a warning in their cockpit so that they turn. Because in this guy's situation, like I say, he's going to turn. I'm actually going to miss this shot. I'm kind of surprised I did. But down at these speeds, this aircraft doesn't turn that bad. It actually kind of got nerfed a little bit, in my opinion, from the first version that we saw. And then it got nerfed a little bit harder in the dev server version 2. This is, so you guys remember I did a video earlier, and then they actually nerfed it after that video. But all jokes aside, like, this aircraft's still not that bad offensively. I mean, that guy was fairly easy. I mean, it's an F9F. That's a fairly competitive aircraft. But I didn't have any problems killing him. Again, here's another scenario. We're going to have an F9F that's above me and probably has more energy than me. And this is where you see that the power that this aircraft has actually comes into play quite well. So he's going to dodge behind me. He's going to turn back in. He's got a lot of speed because he's going into a dive. But I'm just going to keep my nose slightly pitched up. And I'm just going to accelerate away. And it looks like he's going to get close, but I just pitch my nose up a little bit more, and the power of these engines kick in. And this thing has substantially more power than actually a considerable amount of 9.0s, especially at high altitude. But high altitude, again, becomes one of the flaws of this plane. Now, this plane might be heavy. It rolls in around 30,000 pounds, but it has really light wing loading. This aircraft should turn very well at high altitudes. Light wing loading means a lot better maneuverability, and overall this aircraft turns like absolute crap when you get above 4K. You know, 5,000 meters, 6,000 meters, where, you know, the power really kicks in over a 9.0. You know, supersonics still be able to catch you, but you have absolutely no maneuverability. To be honest, you could probably put it up against your average bomber, and I bet you the bomber would probably outturn this thing up at altitude. And that's disgusting. That should not be, especially with light wing loading. This aircraft has 900 square feet of wing area. And that is considerably lighter than most aircraft in the game. So fix the high altitude performance, fix the durability. You know, baby steps here, Gaijin, baby steps. And you might actually have a competitive aircraft. If you left it at 9.0, at least fix that high altitude maneuverability, because that is where this aircraft actually performs. But despite being a masochist, I actually do enjoy taking this plane out in custom battles too, because that way I can control the fight, and I love fighting MiG-15s and MiG-17s in this plane. It's actually a really fun fight, because my combat speed's about the same as theirs. So I was going to catch that MiG-15 above me. You know, I have more power than him, but I see the other guy coming in behind me, so I set up for this. You know, MiG-15 doesn't have very good roll. This thing has slightly better roll, but not quite the same elevator control. But look at it. It's fun fighting MiG-15s in this thing. It really is fun. And it goes to show that if you can control the fight in a real match, or at least have some sort of durability, the aircraft's competitive. It is. It's not that bad. It just needs some love, and Gaijin will not give it to him. It's so frustrating at the same time, because I really do enjoy this plane. I want to see this plane be so much more than it is. This kind of dogfighting is fun. I don't mind being a little bit slow. Sometimes being slow is helpful. This aircraft has potential, but I feel like we've completely forgotten about it. This was a big black eye for Gaijin. It's time to fix it. So I'm not going to rant too much longer, but if you want to fly this plane, you got to keep in mind that its maneuverability is actually not that bad between 600 and 800. You could probably push it up to 900 kilometers an hour. You'll see how when I go into a dive and I start getting up into the 900 range, I will actually pop the air brake, because when you're sitting at 900 to 1,000 kilometers an hour and you need to actually make that shot, you need to slow down or you're not going to have that controllability. In this case, I'm going up, so I don't need the air brake. And this guy is, somehow I'm going to miss my first shot. Just a little bit high, no biggie. But at this speed, like, MiG-17 can't compete at this speed. MiG-17 does not have the power that this thing does. So we get that guy, we go down. Try to build my speed back up just to keep me safe. You know, I don't want to fight at 1,000 kilometers an hour. But we go right back up, get a shot on this A5, and rip, takes the kill from me. But that's fine. I mean, whatever. We drop back down, and we're going to keep fighting. I'm only at these speeds right now because I know that I have room to move. I have room to stay out of the thick of it. Aidens. Wing-mounted Aidens. They're so bad, guys. They're so bad. No, they actually are really good. That guy's going to J out because he knows he ain't going to survive with one wing. It's not that bad. You're going to see me go into a more of a defensive posture right here. And as long as you don't get hit, you're fine. Of course, that's the hard part. But the thing still has a decent roll rate. It has okay elevator control. Now, if I didn't have a squad, I would have been screwed here. And I'll be honest, like, I've been flying this thing with a squad just in case. Because I don't want to ever have to try and carry a match in this plane, because it ain't going to happen. Maybe a NATO match. But the problem is, coming out of that maneuvering, and granted I have my air brake out a little bit longer, but you're not going to have a lot of speed. Now, the power kicks in, you get a little bit of acceleration, but by that time, I mean, everybody else maneuvers at higher speeds than you do, so on the deck, it's not a very good situation, but it can be done. The plane can be flown. Step 1, give it some durability. Step 2, give it its high altitude performance. And this plane will be so much better. Ain't going to be the best plane in the game, but it's going to be so much better. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Hope you guys haven't forgotten about this plane. Remember, tell your local Gaijin representative that you want to fly the Javelin and you want it to actually be worth something. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you around.